A divine intelligence moves beneath the surface of everything you witness, and it doesn't tune into your spoken words, but rather into the energetic vibration emanating from your heart. The existence you're experiencing at this very moment isn't some kind of trial run, and it definitely isn't any form of penalty or punishment. Instead, it operates as a clear mirror, one that's constantly reflecting back the energetic frequency you habitually hold inside yourself. The situations and circumstances unfolding around you aren't simply happening to you in some random fashion. They're actually flowing through you, moving in response to your inner state. This is precisely where countless people get completely lost and disconnected. They exhaust themselves trying endlessly to rearrange everything on the outside, all while completely overlooking the quiet energetic broadcast that's constantly transmitting from within. They jump from one job to another, walk away from relationships that feel stuck, pack up and move to entirely new cities. Yet the internal blueprint stays exactly the same. And guess what? Their external reality follows suit and remains unchanged too. Bob Proctor captured this truth perfectly when he explained that everything showing up in your life serves as a direct reflection of the frequency you're operating on. Shift that frequency, and you'll witness the results transform accordingly. This isn't just some nice sounding philosophical concept to ponder over. It's actually the hidden mystery of creation itself, encoded directly into the very fabric of quantum law. The field of divine intelligence that wraps around all existence doesn't respond to desperate longing or wishful hoping. It responds specifically to alignment, to the energetic match you create within yourself. You've probably come across that popular saying, act as if, right? But here's the thing many people miss completely. This isn't about putting on some kind of performance or faking your way through life. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's actually about achieving sacred alignment with what's already real in the spiritual realm. When you genuinely start to carry yourself with the frequency of already having what you desire, of already being who you're meant to become, of already knowing the truth of your destiny, you're not putting on an act or playing make-believe. You're actually bringing yourself into energetic alignment with the reality where the promises God has spoken over your life already exist in their complete form. And when you do this, the spiritual field begins to respond accordingly. Everything in this universe is fundamentally energy, and energy responds directly to resonance, to vibrational matching. When your heart, your thought patterns, and your physical actions come into perfect harmony with your faith, your outer world will gradually start to mirror that internal transformation. It might not manifest instantly overnight, but the signal you're sending out becomes crystal clear, and the heavens themselves begin to shift and rearrange in response. Think about your current reality as if it's a delayed echo of what your inner life used to be in the past. The challenges and struggles you're wrestling with today often trace back to patterns you've been rehearsing for a long time. These are patterns built on fear, constructed from doubt, reinforced by resistance. Most of the time, you're not even consciously aware you're doing this, but they've been on repeat for so long that they've taken deep root in your subconscious mind. But here's the beautiful part. This recognition isn't meant to become another reason for shame or self-judgment. Instead, it's actually a doorway that leads you back into your authentic power. You were never designed to spend your life begging and pleading for miracles to happen. You were actually created to become the very vessel through which miracles flow into this world. You weren't placed on this planet to spend your days trying to repair some supposedly broken life. You were sent here with a much higher purpose, to remember and recognize that nothing is actually broken when it rests in the hands of God. And this alignment, this sacred tuning, it begins the exact moment you stop sitting around, waiting for something external to change, and instead start actively living as if the transformation has already occurred. This is what I call the holy shift, the divine pivot point. It's when you stop broadcasting the frequency of I am not enough, I am not ready yet, I don't have what I need, and you begin to radiate an entirely different signal. You start emanating I am, I already am, it is already done. And this doesn't come from a place of arrogance or ego. It flows from a place of deep spiritual understanding. God doesn't respond to logical arguments or clever reasoning. He responds directly to faith, to the frequency of unwavering trust. When Bob Proctor shared his wisdom about success, he didn't frame it in terms of checking off goals on some list. He spoke specifically in terms of vibration, of energetic frequency. He understood at a profound level that if you genuinely want to change your outcomes and results, you absolutely must first elevate yourself into the energy signature of the life that God has already prepared and set aside specifically for you. You need to grab hold of the life you desire deep in your soul and stay anchored there. Remain firmly planted in that energetic space, even when absolutely everything your physical senses are picking up still appears to reflect the old reality you're trying to leave behind. This is precisely where faith transforms from being merely a nice belief into something much more powerful. It actually becomes spiritual physics, an operating law of the universe. Because when you maintain your grounding in what hasn't manifested in physical form yet, you're not just daydreaming or escaping reality. You're actually aligning yourself energetically with a parallel reality that exists right now in the quantum field. With every single breath you take, every belief you consciously choose, every quiet act of faith you demonstrate, you're literally drawing what exists in the unseen realm into the dimension of physical manifestation. So the real question, the one that matters most, is this: who are you actually being today? Not what actions are you taking, not what words are coming out of your mouth, but who are you genuinely becoming in the deepest parts of yourself? Because your state of being represents the most powerful prayer you could ever possibly offer up. Heaven doesn't just listen to the words you speak. It pays attention to your entire spiritual posture, to the energetic stance you're holding. The field of divine order stays constantly active, perpetually responding not to your passing hopes or temporary fears, but specifically to the vibration you're actually living in and embodying every single day of your life. If life feels like it's asking something deeper from you right now, maybe there's truth in that feeling. Perhaps you're being called forward to step fully into the version of yourself that's already in complete alignment with God's will for your life, a version that's already surrendered, already at home, resting in His presence. And when that shift finally clicks into place, when your actions, your thought patterns, and your emotional responses all start to echo the truth that everything has already been provided, then watch what happens. The very atmosphere around you begins to change and transform because the divine field doesn't resist alignment when it shows up. Instead, it reflects it back to you, mirrors it perfectly. Before anyone ever talked about the law of attraction, there existed a deeper, more ancient truth woven into the very fabric of creation: the law of vibration. This isn't just pretty poetic language designed to sound spiritual. It's actually the fingerprint of God embedded directly into the structure of reality itself. From the smallest subatomic particle all the way up to your deepest intentions and desires, absolutely everything carries a specific frequency, and these frequencies aren't sitting there silent and inactive. They ripple outward constantly. They touch and interact with the unseen dimensions. They intersect and connect with what Scripture refers to as the things not yet seen but eternally real in the spiritual realm. Bob Proctor was definitely one of those early pioneering voices who helped us grasp this concept from a spiritual perspective. He taught consistently that before you can receive anything in the external world, before manifestation can happen on the outside, you absolutely must become aligned on the inside first. Why? Because this universe, this entire divine system that was created by God Himself, doesn't respond to your words spoken out loud or to wishes you make. It responds specifically to who you genuinely are when nobody else is watching, when there's no audience, when it's just you and your authentic self. Your dominant frequency, the one that actually matters, isn't something you'll find written on a checklist or in a daily planner. It's discovered in your heart, buried in your habitual patterns of thought, embedded in the beliefs you hold quietly deep within your soul. You could wake up every single morning and declare out loud, "I desire abundance. I'm calling in prosperity." But if your soul is still echoing the frequency of lack, if deep down you're still vibrating with scarcity, heaven hears that deeper signal instead. That's what the field responds to. Joe Dispenza put it plainly and directly. You cannot create a new reality while operating with the same personality. Why not? Because your personality, which includes your emotional signature and your mental framework, is constantly speaking into the field of infinite possibility. And this field, functioning like a divine mirror, doesn't pay attention to surface appearances or the mask you show the world. It responds exclusively to what's genuinely true inside you. It reflects coherence, the alignment between what you say you want and what you actually embody. So, how do we create that coherence, that internal alignment? It begins with surrender, with the practice of bringing your emotions and your intentions into complete unity. It starts when your desires stop conflicting with your spirit, when your prayers transform from being words alone into actual vibrations of trust and knowing. Greg Braden calls this the language of the heart, describing it as a holy union of intention paired with elevated emotion, where your faith becomes something tangible you can feel, where your trust stops being just a theory you think about and becomes your lived, embodied reality. Let your heart and mind merge together into one unified holy signal. And understand this deeply, that signal carries real power. It doesn't beg or plead. It declares, it announces, it proclaims. Even mainstream science is confirming this spiritual truth now. The HeartMath Institute made a fascinating discovery that the human heart emits an electromagnetic field that's far more powerful than any other organ in your body, 60 times stronger than the electromagnetic field generated by the brain. And when your heart and your thoughts come into agreement with each other, when emotion and intention unite and work together in harmony, your very being transforms into a transmitter of divine resonance. And resonance, that energetic harmony, that's what reshapes reality around you. This is exactly why the law of vibration always, without exception, comes before the law of attraction. Because attraction isn't something you chase after or hunt down. It's something you become, something you embody. You don't drag your calling toward you through force or desperation. You align yourself with the spiritual frequency where your calling already exists and is waiting. It's just like tuning a radio to the right station. The song you want to hear is already playing, already being broadcast. But if you're not tuned to the correct frequency, you simply won't pick up that signal. In exactly the same way, the life God has prepared and designed specifically for you isn't located somewhere far away in the distant future. It's actually just one alignment away from you, and you don't reach it by pushing harder, by grinding more, by forcing your way there. You reach it by rising into a different rhythm, by elevating into a different vibration. Bob Proctor said it so clearly. You must become the thing you want. You must vibrate at the level of the life you desire. That means completely letting go of the mistaken idea that simply wanting something is going to be enough to bring it to you. Because heaven doesn't respond to wanting, it responds to being. And being isn't about striving or struggling. It's a sacred posture that you live out in every breath you take, in every thought you think, in every faithful decision you make throughout your day. This is where so many spiritual hearts stumble and fall. They carry powerful intentions, beautiful visions of what they want to create. But their emotions remain fractured, broken up, scattered. They can describe their destiny in incredibly beautiful detail, painting vivid pictures with their words. But deep within their core, they are still dwelling in fear, still living in frustration, still operating from lack. And here's the thing, the Lord doesn't just see what we say. He sees what we embody, what we actually carry in our energetic field. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward from this moment. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power, maybe it's something completely unique to your journey. Let that word serve as a small but profound declaration, a signal you're sending out, like planting a quantum seed not just in this comment section, but into the quantum field itself. You cannot trick the field of divine order. You can't fake your way through transformation or pretend your way into a new reality. But here's the good news, you can align. You can bring yourself into genuine coherence. And when your intentions and your emotions finally sync up, when what you desire and what you feel come together in harmony, something powerful shifts. The field stops reflecting confusion and starts mirroring clarity instead. This is precisely what Greg Braden was pointing to when he talked about heart-brain coherence. He discovered through years of research that when your heart's electromagnetic rhythm and your brain's neural patterns synchronize together, you're no longer sending out a mixed signal into the universe. You're broadcasting a unified frequency. And that unified frequency, the quantum field responds to it instantly. It doesn't need to process it or figure it out. It simply reflects it back to you. Your reality begins to reorganize itself around that coherence. Think about it like this. If you're standing in front of a mirror feeling frustrated, what does the mirror show you? Frustration staring back. If you're carrying fear, the reflection shows fear. But here's where it gets interesting. If you want the mirror to show you something different, something better, you can't just shout at the reflection demanding it change. You have to change what you're bringing to the mirror first. You have to shift your inner state, transform your energetic frequency. That's how the spiritual mirror works too. Your external reality cannot show you abundance, cannot display peace, cannot reveal love, if that's not the frequency you're actually vibrating at internally. The universe, this divine system, isn't being difficult or testing you. It's simply being honest, showing you exactly what you're broadcasting. So, many people spend years trying to manifest from a place of lack. They focus intensely on what they don't have yet. They meditate on the absence. They visualize from the position of I don't have this, but I want it so badly. And then they wonder why the manifestation process feels like pushing a boulder uphill. It's because the frequency of lack is what's being transmitted. The field hears I don't have, and it says, okay, here's more of not having. This isn't the universe being cruel. It's the universe being consistent, matching your vibration exactly. But when you flip the script, when you begin to live from the frequency of already having, already being, everything shifts. When you wake up in the morning and before your feet even hit the floor, you breathe into the feeling of gratitude for what's already yours in the spiritual realm. The field picks up on that. When you move through your day carrying the posture of someone who's already living their answered prayer, the quantum field begins to rearrange circumstances to match that frequency. This is where presence becomes absolutely crucial. Because you can have the most beautiful intentions, the most powerful vision boards, the most detailed manifestation lists. But if you're not actually present in your body, if you're constantly living either in the past or in the anxious future, you're not here now to receive what's trying to come through. The quantum field operates in the present moment, not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now, this breath, this heartbeat, this decision. Joe Dispenza talks about this extensively. He explains that your personality, which is basically the sum of how you think, how you act, and how you feel, creates your personal reality. So, if you keep thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, and feeling the same emotions day after day, you're going to keep creating the same reality over and over. It's not punishment, it's physics. It's the law of vibration playing out with perfect consistency. To create something new, you have to become someone new, not on the surface. Not just changing your outfit or your job title. You have to change the internal frequency, the energetic signature that you're carrying and broadcasting. This brings us to embodiment, a word that gets thrown around a lot but isn't always deeply understood. Embodiment means you're not just thinking about the new reality. You're not just visualizing it as something separate from you. You're actually living as if it's already true. You're inhabiting the frequency. Your body, your nervous system, your energetic field, they're all aligned with the truth of what you're calling in. When you embody a new frequency, your biology actually starts to change. Your cells respond. Your nervous system recalibrates. Your brain begins forming new neural pathways. This isn't woo-woo spiritual talk. This is documented science. Neuroscientists have proven that your brain can't actually tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently visualize and feel something, your brain starts wiring itself as if that experience has already happened. It creates the neural infrastructure for that reality. But before we move forward, I want to invite you into something real and significant. If you've been feeling like something's finally making sense, if a part of you is beginning to realize and recognize your own creative power, tap, like if you just had an aha moment, because like attracts like, and subscribe, stay with this space, grow with us. This isn't just a channel, this is a frequency. If you felt a nudge or a shift while watching, you're already tuned in. We're not just consuming content here, we're practicing new ways of being. We're not just absorbing information, we're co-creating possibilities. We're not just learning concepts, we're remembering who we've always been. I'm truly glad you're here. Let's keep growing and shifting together. So, let's get practical for a moment. How do you actually practice this? How do you move from understanding the concept intellectually to living it experientially? It starts with awareness, simple, grounded awareness. You begin paying attention to your inner dialogue, to the story you're telling yourself on repeat. Are you constantly narrating a story of struggle, of not enough, of maybe someday? Because that story, that internal narrative, it's not just thoughts floating through your mind, it's instructions you're giving to the field. It's the blueprint you're handing to the universe saying, "Here, build me this reality." And the universe, being the perfect responder that it is, says, "Okay, here you go." So, if you don't like what's showing up, you've got to change the instructions. You've got to rewrite the story you're living in. This is where morning practices become powerful. Not as some rigid routine you force yourself through, but as a sacred ritual where you consciously choose your frequency before the world has a chance to assign one to you. Before you check your phone, before you scroll through bad news, before you let external circumstances dictate your energetic state, you take a few moments to anchor into who you're becoming. Maybe it's through breath work, consciously breathing in the feeling of peace, breathing out the residue of yesterday's stress. Maybe it's through visualization, spending 5 minutes seeing yourself moving through your day with grace, with confidence, with the knowing that you're supported. Maybe it's through movement, letting your body shake off stagnant energy and step into something more alive. Whatever the practice, the key is consistency and intention. You're training your system to default to a higher frequency. And here's something crucial that often gets overlooked. This work isn't about perfection. It's not about never having a negative thought or never feeling fear again. That's not realistic, and it's not the goal. The goal is to become aware when you've slipped out of alignment and to have the tools to come back. Think of it like learning to play an instrument. At first, you're going to hit wrong notes. You're going to stumble. But with practice, your fingers learn where to go. Your muscle memory develops. Eventually, you're playing beautiful music without having to think so hard about every single note. Your energetic alignment works the same way. At first, it takes conscious effort to catch yourself in old patterns and choose differently. But the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Your default setting starts to shift. Bob Proctor used to say that most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. But that's not what you're here for. You're not here to play small, to dim your light, to settle for less than what's possible. You're here to fully express the divine potential that's coded into your very being. And that expression requires you to be willing to step outside the comfort zone of who you've always been. It requires you to challenge the old beliefs that kept you stuck. It requires you to let go of the need for external validation and instead validate yourself from within. Let's talk about the role of emotion in all of this because it's massive. Your emotions are not just reactions to what's happening around you. They're actually powerful creative forces in themselves. When you feel grateful, you're sending out a frequency of abundance. When you feel love, you're aligning with the highest frequency in the universe. When you feel peace, you're signaling to the field that you trust, that you know everything is working out. These aren't just nice feelings to have. They're active instructions you're broadcasting. This is why cultivating elevated emotions becomes part of the manifestation process. Not fake emotions, not forced positivity, but genuine feelings that you consciously generate from within, regardless of external circumstances. In the comments, share one thing you deeply desire to manifest that's most important for you right now. Maybe it's financial abundance, maybe it's a loving relationship, maybe it's vibrant health and a fit body, maybe it's something uniquely yours. Let this be a small but profound declaration, a signal to the universe you're sending not just in the space, but into the quantum field itself. Joe Dispenza has done extensive research showing that when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you create one of the most powerful signals you can send to the field. The intention is the order you're placing. The elevated emotion is the fuel that carries it into manifestation. Without the emotion, the intention is just a weak wish. Without the intention, the emotion is just unfocused energy. But together, they create coherence, they create power, they create change. This is why meditation practices that focus on feeling the emotion of your desire fulfilled are so effective. You're not meditating to escape your current reality. You're meditating to embody your new reality before it's physically here. You're training your body, your mind, your energy field to recognize and resonate with the frequency you're calling in. And let's be real for a second. This journey isn't always easy. There will be days when you wake up and the old reality feels so heavy, so real, so unchangeable. There will be moments when doubt creeps in and whispers, "Who are you kidding? This isn't working. You're not special. Nothing's going to change." And in those moments, you have a choice. You can believe the doubt, let it pull you back down into the old frequency. Or you can recognize it for what it is, just old programming trying to protect you by keeping you in familiar territory. You can thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then gently, firmly choose differently. You can say, "I hear you, but I'm choosing faith over fear today. I'm choosing alignment over anxiety. I'm choosing to trust the process even when I can't see the evidence yet." This is where the spiritual giants, the ones who've walked this path before us, become so valuable. They remind us we're not alone. They show us it's possible. When Bob Proctor talked about holding the vision, he wasn't speaking theoretically. He lived it. He spent years studying the mind, understanding frequency, mastering the art of alignment. And he proved through his own life that when you get your inner world right, your outer world has no choice but to follow. When Greg Braden connects ancient wisdom with modern science, he's building a bridge that helps our logical mind accept what our soul already knows. When Joe Dispenza shares case studies of people healing impossible diseases or manifesting incredible transformations, he's giving us evidence that this isn't fantasy. It's documented reality. You don't need to understand every mechanism of how this works. You don't need a PhD in quantum physics to apply these principles. You just need to be willing to experiment with your own consciousness, to test it out in your own life. Start small if you need to. Pick something simple to practice with. Maybe it's finding a parking spot. Maybe it's receiving unexpected money. Maybe it's running into someone you've been thinking about. Use these small experiments to build your faith, to prove to yourself that you're not powerless, that your inner state really does influence your outer experience. And here's something beautiful. As you begin to see evidence, as synchronicities start showing up, as things begin to click into place in ways that seem too perfect to be coincidence, your faith deepens. Not blind faith, earned faith, faith based on your own direct experience. And that kind of faith, it's unshakable. Nobody can talk you out of it because you've lived it. You've seen it work. You've felt the shift. The quantum field doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about your mistakes or your failures or how many times you've tried and given up before. It only cares about your current signal, your present frequency. This is incredibly liberating when you really let it sink in. It means that no matter what happened yesterday, no matter what pattern you've been stuck in for years, you can choose differently right now. This moment, this breath, you can decide, "I'm done broadcasting lack. I'm done vibrating fear. I'm stepping into a new frequency starting now," and the field will respond. It has to. It's law. You realize you are the sign you've been waiting for. You are the vibration that calls things into form. You are the living frequency of what's trying to come through. And the way you show up in this present moment, right now, is already actively shaping the path that unfolds ahead of you. Life isn't holding out, waiting for the perfect time to arrive. It's responding to the now, to your breath, to your belief, to your inner stance. You don't need to have everything fixed or figured out. You don't need every answer mapped out or all the resources already in place. What you need is presence, grounded, aware, aligned presence. Because the quantum field doesn't track time the way our linear minds do. It doesn't wait for later or someday. It listens to now. It responds to clarity. It mirrors the intensity and truth of who you're becoming in this very moment. And here's the grace woven into all of this. Presence is something you can actively practice and develop. It begins with awareness, a soft, grounded awareness that gently says, "I am not my fear. I am not defined by my past. I am not controlled by my thoughts. I am the one who observes, who consciously chooses, who creates." Bob Proctor echoed this truth again and again throughout his teaching. Hold the image of what you want, lock into it, stay with it. Don't let it go. Because the moment you anchor that image with true feeling, with genuine embodied emotion, the field begins to move in response. Things start to shift. circumstances begin to rearrange. So now, let's turn this understanding into actual practice, into something you can do today. Begin with a sacred act of visualization, but not the passive daydreaming kind. Make it a daily ceremony of creation. Close your eyes and see the version of you who's already living in the fullness of God's promise for your life. Don't imagine this from a place of lack or wanting. Resonate from faith. Feel what they feel in their body. Think the thoughts that naturally flow through their mind. Walk in the posture they naturally carry. Let that image, that version of you, become more real and vivid to you than any fear or doubt. Then breathe it in deeply. Use your breath as a bridge, as a living connection, a way to bring your spirit, mind, and body into complete harmony. Inhale as your future self, breathing in their reality. Exhale as the frequency of peace, of abundance, of perfect alignment. Let your breath become your anchor, your grounding cord into the version of you that already exists in the quantum field. Begin to write from that elevated place. Don't write to your future like it's something separate or distant. Write from it as if you're already there. Pick up your pen or open your journal, and let your words flow from the life that's already unfolding within you right now. Describe your day in present tense. Describe the energy you carry. Describe the peace that flows through your relationships and the joy that fills your sense of freedom. Let your subconscious mind begin to embrace this reality as your new normal, your new baseline. This isn't pretending or lying to yourself. It's transformation at the deepest level. It's not fantasy or escape. It's the renewal of your mind that scripture talks about. This is what science calls neuroplasticity in action. You are actively training your brain to follow new patterns of truth. You are consciously tuning your heart to harmony. You are sending out a new signal into the field, and the spiritual field is always listening, always responding. These practices may feel like small acts at first, but in truth, they are sacred and quantum in their nature because they systematically dismantle inner resistance. They realign your timeline. They encode your present moment with precision and purpose. Greg Braden calls this conscious participation in the quantum field. And Dr. Joe Dispenza echoes the exact same understanding. When you think from the end, when you feel from the end, your body believes it's already happening. It can't tell the difference. And when your body believes it, your body responds accordingly. Your biology begins to change. Your chemistry shifts. And so does your reality. You don't manifest through force or struggle or grinding yourself down. You manifest through clarity. And clarity is born not in perfection or in having it all figured out, but in stillness, in presence. When you choose day by day to show up as the version of yourself that God has already spoken over you, you're not pretending or faking until you make it. You are preparing. You are holding that vibration steady and strong, holding it long enough for the physical world to catch up with the spiritual truth. You are embodying a truth that heaven already agrees with, a reality that already exists in the mind of God. If you're a conscious creator, hit like and subscribe. This is not just a channel. This is a community of conscious creators, a space where we're not just learning information but actively practicing transformation together. This is the mystery that so many people miss completely. The field of divine potential does not respond to need or desperation. It responds to embodiment. And embodiment is not about being fearless or never having doubts. It's about being faithful to the version of you who already knows how this story ends. The one who knows with certainty that it ends in victory, in peace, in purpose, fulfilled. So here's your invitation, your sacred assignment. Choose one act, one ritual, one quiet moment each day that whispers to your soul, I remember who I'm becoming. Do it with reverence. Do it with clear intention. Don't wait for the external world to change first. Let the change begin in you. Let the transformation start from the inside out. Bob Proctor said it best. It's not about changing the world out there. It's about changing the image you hold of yourself on the inside, and the world changes in response. Every single time you return to alignment, you are actively reprogramming your atmosphere. Every time you hold the vision steady, every time you breathe with conscious purpose, your presence becomes a declaration. Your focus becomes a frequency, and your being becomes the bridge between infinite possibility and physical fulfillment. So don't waste energy waiting for signs from the outside. Become the signal yourself. Because the field isn't waiting for your perfection. It's never been about being perfect. The field is waiting for your agreement, your yes, your alignment. And that agreement begins the exact moment you say with your whole being, I am ready now. I am done waiting. I am stepping in. You have nothing to chase down, nothing to prove to anyone, nothing to earn through struggle. Because the version of you who is already living in peace, in wholeness, in abundance, already exists. Not someday in the distant future, not somewhere far away that you have to journey to, but here, now, in the field of God's promise. It's waiting for you, not to try harder or do more, but to become still enough to remember. Everything you seek is not out there in the external world. It's already within you, planted deep in your soul, encoded into your spirit. There is a frequency waiting to be unlocked inside you that responds not to striving or effort but to identity, to who you know yourself to be. The most powerful key in the entire universe is not what you want. It's who you believe you are. Because you don't manifest what you desire from a distance. You manifest what you embody from the inside, not who you pretend to be for others. Not the version you perform to get approval, but the one you are in the quiet moments, in the stillness, beneath your words, beneath your actions. The version of you that vibrates with truth, that carries authenticity, even when no one is watching. And this is the sacred truth that changes everything you already are. The abundance you seek is not somewhere distant in time. It's already alive and active in the version of you who knows without a shadow of doubt that they are worthy. The love you long for, it's already encircling the version of you who no longer hides or plays small. The purpose you crave, it's already flowing through the you who trusts divine guidance more than fear. You're not climbing towards some higher version of yourself. You're uncovering what's always been there. You're peeling away the doubt, stripping away the noise, removing the delay. You're collapsing the illusion that keeps saying not yet, not enough, not me. Because God doesn't operate in time the way we experience it. He moves in alignment. And alignment is not something you force into being. It's something you surrender to, something you allow. Bob Proctor once said something powerful. Faith and fear both require belief in something unseen. You choose. So which one will you stand in? Which frequency will you broadcast? There is a frequency that creates without struggle. It doesn't plead or beg. It doesn't strive or stress. It radiates. It resonates. It reshapes reality because it's rooted in coherence, in alignment. And that frequency, it already lives in you. It's not something you have to chase down or earn. It's something you remember, something you reclaim. So stop waiting for signs from outside. You are the sign. Stop asking if you're ready enough. Stop doubting your value or questioning your worthiness. Begin to breathe as the person who already walks in the fullness of God's promise. See yourself through the eyes of your future fulfilled self. Hear your thoughts as one who has already arrived at their destination. Move through your day like heaven is already dancing with you, already celebrating you. Because this is what's real. This is what's true. The field is not testing you or making you prove yourself. It's reflecting you. It is echoing the essence of who you are right now in this moment. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family. You could be a blessing in disguise for them. Remember, you're not just sharing content. You're spreading the frequency of awakening, of remembering, of stepping into power. And that positive energy you release into the world will circle back and amplify everything you're manifesting. So, if you want something new to appear in your life, you must become something new in yourself, not by striving or forcing, but by faith, by choice, by sacred remembrance of who you've always been underneath all the conditioning. You already are. The one who lives the dream. The one who carries love, freedom, and joy. The one who transforms time itself just by being fully present. So pause right where you are. Stand still, breathe deep, and declare to the atmosphere, not with words alone, but with energy, with your whole being, I already am. Let that be your prayer, your anchor, your sacred code. Not because saying it will magically make it happen, but because becoming it is what makes it real.